Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lukethevacuumsaver tuning back into another video. How's it been? Last video before, excuse me there, last video before college break ends. Welcome to all of you. Hello, my friends, my family, people that love to say vacuums like me. Welcome, welcome. And to people that this is your first video with me, also welcome. Now, today's episode is very, 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 very special, and that is because this is my 40th, yep, you heard me right, folks, I'm already up to episode 40 on Vacuum Saved already, so I just wanted to take this time to say thank you to everybody who has helped make this happen for me. It means a lot, and as you guys can tell, these vacuums are beautiful. They are ready to rumble for you today. So, and boy, one of these machines had quite the bumpy ride before coming to me, and I'll let you know which one that is later in the video. But anyhow, you've heard from me before. If this is your first video, the videos, number one, speak for themselves, and number two, they're broken down into 4 different categories. The first category is the introduction, which is what you're viewing right now. The second part is a story time, which means I will bring the machines right about here and explain a little bit about each one, and we'll go story time part 1, then story time part 2, and then we will do a test run of each of the machines, which means I'll run them up and down the carpet a few times, and that gets really interesting and a lot of fun for everybody on the channel, and then a conclusion of what I think of the vacuums. Now one of these machines has a lot more problems than the other one did when I got it, but it really showed what I could do with a vacuum in quite a unique way. So I'm so excited to get started with this one. And what do you say we get right into it, folks? So let's go ahead and begin with a machine on the left-hand side here today. So on your left-hand side for you this afternoon is a Hoover Wind Tunnel 3 Pro Pet Rewind vacuum. It is a 12 amp motor. Take a look at that beauty. Alright, now here's a machine we haven't seen on the channel before. Over on your right hand side, we have a Eureka the Boss Lightspeed banged upright vacuum. A Eureka the Boss Lightspeed 12 amp upright vacuum. Take a look at these beauties, folks. Man, oh man, oh man. And by the way, this Eureka, they don't make these anymore, so I am so happy to have this one. And also this one, I mean, just look how beautiful that thing turned out for me. And it actually has a running surface selector on it. I'll go a little bit more into that on detail in the story time. So that was the introduction, folks, and now it is story time, actually. So what do you say we begin with I guess we'll do the Hoover first. So, story time today begins with the Hoover Wind Tunnel 3 Pro Pet Rewind. Alright guys, hello my friends, my family. Good afternoon, this is Luke the Vacuum Saver tuning back in for you. How's it been? This is part 1 of episode 40 of Vacuum Saved already. I'm going to call this the 12 amp motor edition because both of these have a 12 amp motor. We haven't had the 12 amp motor edition for a while on the channel here. So I'm just feeling the name is exactly right for this video. Now, this vacuum had a lot of problems when I picked it up. The first problem was it was really dirty, but just take a look at how beautiful this Mate Black and this blue turned out for me. It's absolutely beautiful vacuum now. Now, the problem was this had a broken cord rewind. That's why it is wrapped around the hose, and I'll get into that in a second on how I fix this one. So, let's go ahead and discuss what I was speaking about earlier, the multi-surface selector. So the multi-surface selector on the Hoover wind tunnels is going to be on the side here, on the motor head itself, near the adjustment pad. Right there, there's a view of both of them to show you some perspective. Now, if you have a rewind version like this, it will be directly above the switch. Right there, okay? But if you have an older wind tunnel like I showed in one of my earlier episodes, I called it Captain America tunnel. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment sections down below which one that was, because I filmed so many episodes now of Vacuum Save for all you lovers of vacuums out there like I am. I'm so happy to see it. I really, really am. But on the older wind tunnels, it is right here. So, the wind tunnels that do not have a rewind. And speaking of the rewind, I really don't recommend it for a vacuum, because the rewind mechanism is powered by a spring, okay, ladies and gentlemen, and what happened is that spring was pushed in so many times that it finally decided to recoil out at me like a bloomin' onion from Outback Steakhouse, and I'm not kidding you folks. That thing, I was over on that section of the garage, that thing launched like a missile over against that garage door and landed right there on that couch. So, yeah. That's why I do not recommend buying a vacuum that has a rewind system, because it's just prone to break after some time. But these Hoover wind tunnels are seriously powerful. Now, what am I talking about when I mean this surface selector? And by the way, this much older Eureka does not have a surface selector at all on it. So it's just a brush roll, and by the way, you cannot shut it on or off. So I'll get into that later. But this surface selector, ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, this wind tunnel is a pet version, and you can tell because you see this turbo brush right here, ladies and gentlemen, right? Yeah, I'll flip it around. There you go. So this turbo brush has rubber fins instead of actual bristles. So this is a little bit better built than a wind tunnel typically is, but the rewind feature just sucks on it, I'm not gonna lie. But everything else about this vacuum I love. It's ridiculously powerful for one thing. It has the working height adjustment right here, so you can clean the different types of floors and carpets in your house. Now, this multi-surface selector, for real this time, what happens is this vacuum has a safety feature that no matter what mode you're in, so let's explain the modes now that I'm talking about that. So the modes are controlled by this right here, brush roll on off. So this is in the off position, which means the vacuum will just sound like a normal 12 amp vacuum. This is what you use on hard floors and if you're running upholstery tools. Okay? So then what you have to do is, if you want to turn on the brush roll, push down and let go. When it is up like that, you see the brush plate went down a little bit, engaging the belt right about here to clean the carpet, and then dirt will come right into here. And look how beautiful that turned out, folks. So anyhow, to shut off the brush roll, push down. See, the plate came up and it disengaged the belt. So, and this is a running surface selector. I've had wind tunnels that have had a broken surface selector before, which means the brush will just keep spinning and spinning and spinning, and is powered by the motor right here. Now the surface selector is totally different. So you have to be careful when you're aligning the belt and stuff. But, and by the way, folks, so what did I do with the cord? So there was a open gap, and I just installed the cord hook here. And the thing was, because this cord is decently long at 27.5 feet, I wanted to make sure that I had a cord hook that could actually fit everything on it. So, and by the way, I'll do a quick slow rundown of the vacuum here. And there you have it, folks. That is part 1 of story time for this episode. Now, we're going to get to something that I know you guys will be excited for. Our first Eureka light speed. Give me 1 second here, folks. Alright, my apologies about that. Let's get to the light speed. Alright, hello my friends, my family, everybody else in between. This is part 2 of Storytime for Vacuum Save, episode 40, the 12 amp motor edition. Welcome to part 2 of Storytime. So what you're looking at here this afternoon is a Eureka the Boss light speed bagged upright vacuum. Now, keep in mind that they formerly called these light speeds the Eureka Maximas before, and they also called them Eureka the Boss Power Plus now, or Power Speed, whatever they're called. But this has 5 height adjustments, and it's just a overall really good vacuum. It weighs less than 14 pounds, and take a look at how clean I got this thing, and how clean the vacuum came out for me. So to maintain this vacuum, it is very simple. So what you gotta do is make sure that your lid is on properly, and is on lock and then open. So to do that, what you have to do, let's see, how can I'll explain this, folks. So 1 second. Okay, so there we go. So I'm gonna put this in between my legs for this. So to do this, what you gotta do, and by the way, this is very easy to take on and off. So what you gotta do, see this right here, give it a nice hold, twist, 1 second, and then that reveals this bag. And this is a style PL Eureka bag. If you ever receive a Maxima or a Power Plus or a Lightspeed like this, if you have a vacuum that has this exact kind of dustbin, that is your bag type. Just putting that out there for you guys in case you ever need it. And trust me, you might one day. I know how much some people run their vacuums. So the most important thing that you can do is to never force any part of a vacuum. So what you're going to do to put this back on is quite simple. So make sure that the hooks are aligned. 1 second, folks. Alright, so by the way, right now I'm going to show you how to take out the bag. So to take it out, there's a carrying handle right here. So flip that up, and it just pulls right out. Okay. Now to put it back in, so that's in. One second. There we go. So that is how you lock that, folks. Make sure that those make sure that those are aligned like that, and then it just goes right back on the vacuum here. Very sorry about that black there for a second, folks. That was just harder than usual to put back together, but now that it is, we are good to put the vacuum back together. So there we go. So that is a Eureka Lightspeed. This has a billet view. And by the way, this weighs under 14 pounds. And it's just a really beautiful vacuum, folks. I love this just as much as I love repairing them. So this is very simple to operate. So to start the vacuum, what you're going to do is see this red power switch. Push down to turn the vacuum on. Then push it again to shut it off. Okay, so I'll show that again. Down is on. Up is off. Then this is your handle release right here, that gray button. And just push it across the carpet and have fun. So, that is story time for the Eureka Lightspeed. So I'll go ahead and start with the Hoover wind tunnels test. Here, wait till you guys see this thing. It is very powerful. And so is this. You guys are going to be blown away by both of these. I'm really proud of these. And it's a great way to ring in 240 save vacuums, in my opinion. So, let's go ahead and get these guys unwinded. Get this cord unwound here, just enough to reach up and down the carpet a couple times. Unplug my heater, thank you for keeping my garage warm up till this point. I'm going to make this quick so my phone does not die. So, let's plug this in. Alright, are you guys ready to see a wonderful running wind tunnel? Okay, that's what I thought you said. So here I'll just do a sound test first. So here comes the Hoover wind tunnel in 3, 2, 1. So there you have it. And then here we go at the actual test. 3, 2, 1. And that is the Hoover wind tunnel. Nice new brush roll coast down for you there. Back on disengaged, so it is safe around children. So I'll wrap this one up and we'll run the Lightspeed. What did you think of this Hoover, folks? Let me know in the comment sections down below. Personally, I think it sounds pretty good. Honestly, for how bad it in rough condition it actually was. So I'll set this to the side here. And let's run the light speed. Let's do this, folks. Okay. Let's see. That should be enough. Let's try it. And I think the light speed agrees. So, plug him in there. And let's get started. So, here comes the sound test. Sound test only. So, here comes the Eureka light speed. Okay. Now you ready for the actual test, folks? Here comes a completely refurbished and clean light speed from Eureka in 3, 2, 1. Take a look at how nice both of these did. So folks, I can't tell, so let me know which one do you think did better in the comment sections down below. So I'll wrap this up and I'll give final thoughts. Alright, so final thoughts on these two. So first of all, both of these sound really, really nice. As you heard, they have a 12 amp motor. And I feel like they did really, really, really good. Both of them have their pros and cons. And I just feel like they're great vacuums all around. The Eureka Lightspeed is going to college with me, so I know it'll do a great job. And the Hoover Windsor will stay here. And with all the other vacuums, and I know that it will be good. It's just as the other ones here. So this has been Luke the Vacuum Saver, guys. Take care.